I request our director, Professor Bhaskar Ramamurthy, to release the extramural lectures yearbook for 2013-2014. I now request Professor P.S.T. Sai, HOD Chemical Engineering Department, to read the citation for the Distinguished Alumnus Awardee, Mr. Raju Venkatraman.
Sri Raju Venkatraman, popularly known as Raju, obtained his B.Tech in Chemical Engineering in 1981 from IIT Madras and completed an executive MBA, including a 3-tier training program at Indian Institute of Management, Ahmedabad. He also has a diploma in quality education system from the General Motors Institute, USA. Raju has always led from the front, right from starting his career with Cadbury's cookies. At Electronic Data Systems, he pioneered the innovation and application of digital imaging technology. He led the team in integration of raster imaging scanning and tagged image files format with files, compression techniques, optical disk storage, and the early adoption of Ethernet communication. He was also the founder of ENRI Systems and a pioneer in business process outsourcing in bringing back work to India rather than getting the work done in USA. In this sector, his contributions include adoption of satellite technology for data transmission. He also initiated the movement of BPO to 2-tier and 3-tier cities in India, which opened up many job opportunities in those areas. Currently, as the MD and CEO of Medall Healthcare Private Limited, Raju is taking healthcare diagnostics, wellness, and preventive care to several small towns across the states of Tamil Nadu, Andhra Pradesh, Karnataka, Kerala, and Maharashtra. Medall is partnering with several organizations and also with IIT Madras in providing 24/7 counseling services for students at IIT Madras. Raju has been honored with AIIM Excellence Award. He has been recognized as one of the top 50 entrepreneurs in Michigan for the years 1994 and 1995, and he was the recipient of American Dreamers Award from Crane's Business Magazine for the year 1999. For close to 2 decades, Raju has been associated with Young Presidents Organization. He is also the chairman of TICON 2013 Chennai chapter and also senior vice president MMA. He passionately believes in mentoring young entrepreneurs and plays basketball with equal passion. In recognition of Mr. Raju Venkatraman's contribution as an entrepreneur, leader, and manager, IIT Madras and its alumni are proud to confer him IIT Madras Distinguished Alumnus Award.
I request Professor U.V. Varadaraju, HOD Chemistry Department, to read the citation for the Distinguished Alumnus Awardee, Dr. Krishna Raghavachari.
Professor Krishna Raghavachari has an internationally recognized research program in theoretical and computational chemistry. He obtained his MSc in chemistry from IIT Madras in 1975. He joined Carnegie Mellon University to work with Professor Poppel, a professor of theoretical chemistry and Nobel laureate, and earned his PhD in 1981. During his career, Professor Raghavachari has developed a range of new theoretical methods and algorithms that have been instrumental in the widespread use of computational chemistry by non-experts. He has made many contributions to the famous and widely used Gaussian program, recognized by the Nobel Committee in its award to Professor Poppel. Professor Raghavachari joined Bell Laboratories in 1981 and received their Distinguished Researcher Award in 1987. He joined Indiana University as a professor of chemistry in 2002 and was selected as a distinguished professor in 2014. Research in his group focuses on new developments in electronic structure theory, along with challenging applications in structures, chemistry, mechanisms, and properties of molecules and materials. The work is collaborative and multidisciplinary in scope, covering the areas of chemistry, physics, material science, and biochemistry. He has made seminal contributions to the development and application of electron correlation techniques in computational quantum chemistry. In particular, his analysis of the nature of 3 electron correlation effects led to the accurate and highly successful method labeled CCSD that has been termed as the gold standard of quantum chemistry. He has authored over 325 scientific papers in many areas of chemistry. His papers have been cited more than 50,000 times, making him one of the highest cited scientists of Indian origin. Professor Raghavachari has received many honors and awards. He was elected as a Fellow of the American Physical Society in 2001 and as a Fellow of the Royal Society of Chemistry in 2008. He served as the Chair of the Theoretical Chemistry Subdivision of the American Chemical Society in 2006. He received the Davison Germer Prize in Surface Physics in 2009. In 2010, he was elected as a member of the International Academy of Quantum Molecular Science, the highest honor in his field. I also wish to mention, he gave a talk yesterday and he mentioned to us that he was All India ranked #1 in JEE. And he also mentioned that he refused to join engineering and he went to Vivekananda College and he pursued chemistry at IIT Madras. And then he wrote this CAT exam and he got selected for IIM Ahmedabad and he refused to join the MBA program and then went on to do outstanding work in chemistry. This is a momentous occasion for science in this country. It's an encouragement to all the youngsters. He stands as an example that pursuing science can take you a long way in life. In recognition of Professor Krishna Raghavachari's distinguished academic career and research contributions in the field of computational quantum chemistry, IIT Madras and its alumni are proud to confer him the award of Distinguished Alumnus.
I request Professor P. Srinivasa Kumar, HOD, Computer Science and Engineering Department, to read the citation for the Distinguished Alumnus Awardees, Dr. Ramesh Govindan and Dr. Sridhar Ramaswamy.
Citation for Dr. Ramesh Govindan, Professor of Computer Science, University of Southern California, USA. Professor Ramesh Govindan obtained his BTech in Computer Science and Engineering from IIT Madras in 1987 and later completed his MS and PhD in Computer Science at the University of California, Berkeley, USA, obtaining his doctorate in 1992. Professor Govindan has made seminal contributions to several subfields in computer networking, including internet routing and network sensing. He was one of the earliest researchers to study the internet packet routing and was also among the first researchers to map the internet. His Mercator network mapper produced extensive use of the internet backbone at the time. He also devised novel methods to improve the accuracy of these maps. Professor Govindan's most recent contributions have been in the area of wireless network sensing. Two of his early papers in the field of directed diffusion and geographic hash tables proved seminal and illustrated both the challenges posed by wireless networks of sensors and the opportunities for novel designs. Subsequently, his group made fundamental contributions to geographic routing in wireless and sensor networks, exploring a novel network architecture called TENET for wireless sensing that factors in network functionality in a manner that promotes code reuse and simplifies application development. Professor Govindan is a fellow of the Association of Computing Machinery USA, a fellow of the Institution of Electrical and Electronics Engineers, and the winner of many Best Paper Awards. Until recently, he served as editor-in-chief of the IEEE Transactions on Mobile Computing. In recognition of Professor Ramesh Govindan's academic excellence and research contributions in the field of computer networking and network sensing, IIT Madras and its alumni are proud to confer him this award. Citation for Dr. Sridhar Ramaswamy, Senior Vice President, Advertisements and Commerce, Google Incorporated, USA. Dr. Sridhar Ramaswamy obtained his BTech in Computer Science and Engineering from IIT Madras in 1989 and later went on to complete his MS and PhD in Computer Science at Brown University, USA, obtaining his doctorate in 1994. Dr. Ramaswamy's early research focused on database theory and systems and resulted in a number of patents and publications on database systems and database theory in highly regarded journals. He began his career at Bell Communications Research and later became a scientist at Bell Labs in Murray Hill, where his innovations included the Aqua database that pioneered the new direction of giving fast, approximate answers to queries. Prior to joining Google, he held several roles at Epiphany, including Director of Engineering for Epiphany's analytical platform. Dr. Ramaswamy joined Google in 2003 as a software engineer in the advertisements infrastructure team. He rose rapidly through the ranks of the search advertising team to become Senior Vice President of Engineering in 2011. He is currently responsible for all of Google's advertising and commerce products, which generated over $40 billion in revenue in 2013. This success is largely realized through the power of algorithms and systems. Innovating in search and display advertising demands a blend of state-of-the-art computer science and microeconomic theory to deliver an experience that is effective for advertisers and relevant for users, a demand that Dr. Ramaswamy has satisfied in full measure. In recognition of Dr. Sridhar Ramaswamy's prowess in blending technology and microeconomic theory, IIT Madras and its alumni are proud to confer him this award.
I request Professor Harishankar Ramachandran, HOD, Electrical Engineering Department, to read the citation for the Distinguished Alumnus awardee, Dr. VenkatramanSadanand.
Dr. VenkatramanSadanand obtained his BTech in Electrical Engineering in the EE department from IIT Madras in 1978. He then completed his MS and PhD in Economics from California Institute of Technology, obtaining his doctorate in 1983. He was an accomplished professor of economics for more than a decade with a keen involvement in research and education. He received a number of awards for teaching and published extensively in the area of game theory and economic competition in leading economic journals, including the Journal of Economic Theory. Then, driven by his deep-seated desire to serve others in a direct capacity, Dr. Sadanand shifted gears. He threw himself fully into medical studies and completed the MD program at the University of Toronto, chose the field of neurosurgery, and then went on to subspecialize in the discipline of pediatric neurosurgery and epilepsy. He continues to teach and perform surgeries at hospitals in Canada, India, and the United States, while grooming the next generation of neurosurgeons. Currently, his research focus is in the areas of biology of brain tumors, brain plasticity, signal processing to develop a 3D map of the brain, and health economics. He has also been an innovator in the development of new surgical techniques, especially in the surgical and post-surgical treatment of epilepsy. Besides his clinical teaching and research work, Dr. Sadanand devotes time and energy to humanitarian services rendered through various organizations, providing free healthcare in many parts of the world by conducting free medical camps and free surgeries. In recognition of Dr. Sadanand's remarkable success in the engineering and medical professions and his contributions in the service of his fellow humans, IIT Madras and its alumni are proud to confer him this award.
I request Professor T. Sundarajan, HOD, Mechanical Engineering Department, to read the citation for the Distinguished Alumnus Awardee, Mr. Kannan Lakshminarayan.
Sri Kannan Lakshminarayan obtained his BTech in Mechanical Engineering from IIT Madras in 1988. Kannan is a serial entrepreneur and innovator. He has founded a number of for-profit and not-for-profit organizations. He started the Sunbeam Group of Schools in Vellore in 1989. In 2001, he founded Vortex Engineering Private Limited. Vortex is a sustainable business that builds and delivers technology solutions targeted at financial inclusion, pioneering the concept of rural ATM machines. Through Vortex, he developed a range of ATMs, Gram Teller Indy, Gramma Teller Duo, and Eco Teller, all of them optionally solar powered. Vortex has successfully deployed ATMs with leading banks across most states in India, especially in small towns and villages. The products and solutions are specially designed to suit conditions unique to the rural segment where power supply is erratic, literacy levels of end users are low, and the terrain is rough. Kannan has developed a spinning machine to operate on a small to medium scale, which was thought to be impossible. These are now in use at many centers throughout India and gave rise to a designer fabric called Malka. He founded Microspin Machine Works Private Limited in 2011 to deliver this as a market-driven solution for cotton growers and small producers in the cotton value chain. He also founded Skill Vary Training Solutions Private Limited in 2013 to develop affordable training simulators for different industrial skills to address the skill gap. Kannan is an inventor holding 6 pending patents on ATM technologies and 2 patent pending inventions on microspinning. He has also mentored several innovations under the aegis of Fractal Foundation, 2 of which are patent pending. He has delivered a number of acclaimed one-off original solutions in the domain of energy, food processing, and healthcare. In recognition of Sri Kannan's innovations and pioneering work in sustainable solutions for the rural environment, IIT Madras and its alumni are proud to confer him this award.
I request Professor M. Kamaraj, HOD, Metallurgical and Materials Engineering Department, to read the citation for the Distinguished Alumnus Awardee, Dr. Lalgudi V. Ramanathan and Dr. Thirumalai S. Sudarshan.
Citation for Dr. Lalgudi V. Ramanathan. Dr. Lalgudi V. Ramanathan obtained his BTech in Metallurgical Engineering from IIT Madras in 1969. Later, he obtained his MSc and PhD in Corrosion Science and Engineering from John Case College of Science and Engineering, London. Dr. Ramanathan's interest took him to Brazil, where he was invited to be a part of their then nascent nuclear program as a young scientist in the Energy and Nuclear Research Institute. Over the next 3 decades, he established himself as an outstanding researcher, academician, consultant, and technical manager, and now considered a global authority in the field of corrosion engineering, especially for nuclear materials. Though not a native, he rose through the managerial hierarchy to head the Material Science and Engineering Center at the Energy and Nuclear Research Institute from 2005 till 2013. Dr. Ramanathan's research involved in pioneering work in the areas of rare earth oxide coatings to mitigate high temperature degradation of metallic materials, coatings to protect spent fuel from research reactors during long-term wet storage, and nanostructure coatings to resist high temperature erosion oxidation. Since 1979, he has been a voluntary and accredited postgraduate professor at the University of Sao Paulo and has taught a course on corrosion oxidation of nuclear materials for materials and its prevention. Dr. Ramanathan has won many awards and medals, including the Distinguished Service Medal from the Energy and the Nuclear Research Institute 1998, the Brazilian Science Research Council Scholarship continuously from 1989 for scientific output. He has been elected Fellow of the Institute of Materials UK, elected Fellow of Institute of Corrosion UK, and Chartered Engineer, the Engineer Council UK. In recognition of Dr. Ramanathan's impressive all-round contributions to technology, research, and academics in the field of corrosion engineering in nuclear applications, IIT Madras and its alumni are proud to confer him this award. Citation for Dr. T.S. Sudarshan, President and CEO, Materials Modifications, USA. Dr. T.S. Sudarshan obtained his B.Tech in Metallurgy from IIT Madras in 1976 and later completed his MS and PhD in Materials Engineering Science at Virginia Tech, USA. He worked at Ashok Leyland as a senior metallurgist and established a modern metallurgical laboratory and managed various research programs. Sudarshan is currently the President and CEO of Materials Modification, which is at the forefront research, development, and commercialization of advanced materials utilizing novel processing techniques. He has demonstrated technological leadership for over 3 decades and has worked extensively throughout his career in the areas of nanotechnology and surface engineering, for which he is very well known throughout the world. He has patented and developed self-lubricating automotive product that is used internationally, also nanogen and plasma pressure compaction, for which he holds several patents. He has developed products to control and stop bleeding, Grocolate for the US Army, and Silvermate for mitigating burns, and Garrett suits for protection from gamma radiation. Through his leadership, he has raised over $60 billion in funding very high risk, high payoff advanced technology related programs in several non-traditional areas. Dr. Sudarshan is a fellow of ASM International, USA, fellow of International Federation of Heat Treatment and Surface Engineering, UK, and fellow of Institute of Mining, Metals and Materials, UK. He was the winner of the R&D 100 Award for Nanogen 1998, the Design News Award, and R&D 100 Award for Plasma Pressure Compaction 1999. He was recognized as Outstanding Young Manufacturing Engineer by the Society of Manufacturing Engineers in 1990. Dr. Sudarshan has published over 170 papers, edited 29 books, is the editor of 2 international journals, Surface Engineering and Materials and Manufacturing Processes, for more than 2 decades and holds numerous patents. In recognition of Dr. T.S. Sudarshan professional accomplishments and entrepreneurial excellence, IIT Madras and its alumni are proud to confer him this award.
May I request the distinguished Alumnus Award winners to deliver their acceptance speech in the order in which they have received the award.
Good evening to all. Honorable Chief Guest, Shri Avinash Chandraji, Professor Bhaskar, Director of IIT Madras, all the distinguished members on the dais and off the dais, my family and well-wishers who are here today. Today is really a very happy moment. I have been to this institute so many times, but today was a very special day for me and is a special day. I entered IIT as raw as a clay. And one professor described me at that time as a tall telegraphic pole. I could play basketball at that time. And today I am honored and humbled to receive the award for entrepreneurship, leadership, and management. Very truly, this institute taught me everything in the 5 years that I was here. I owe everything I have achieved to this institute. I learned entrepreneurship here by taking an All India basketball tournament, which was a small tournament and raised funds at that time, inspired by a few professors like Professor Ananthaswamy and Professor Gupta. I learned chemical engineering, but I actually learned to manage cash through heat transfer and mass transfer balance. And that's what made me a successful entrepreneur. And I want to thank all my professors, Professor Satyanarayana, Gopi Chand, and several others who really taught us with a lot of passion. And I cannot forget Professor Ananth, who was the institute director subsequently, and every speech of his inspired me. In fact, he doesn't know it. I moved to medical field because he said engineers need to move to medicine. Medicine needs it. And then, if I look back, I learned winning in IIT Madras. We won the 10th consecutive inter-IIT sports. And I cannot forget what winning meant at that moment. It was superb teamwork. And I really want to thank the Institute for providing me all the opportunity, all the molding, all the development that I had here. And my dear friends like Professor Ganesh, Santanam, who continue to be great friends of mine. And in this city today, I'm happy because I'm in IIT too. So thank you all, thank you, and thank you, Professor Bhaskar and the team. Thank you.
It's really a great pleasure for me to visit IIT Madras again and see all the wonderful changes and so many new things that have happened in this great campus. I would like to thank the selection committee, the IIT director, Bhaskar Ramamurthy, and everybody else for making this possible. It's a real great honor and privilege for me to receive this Distinguished Alumnus Award at IIT Madras, a place that is very dear to me in more ways than one. This is where my scientific career started. As was mentioned earlier, I decided not to take up engineering at IIT Madras, even though I had got the JEE rank #1 in India. But at that time, I was really passionate about science. I really liked chemistry, and I wanted to do chemistry. I joined the Vivekananda College at the time. Still, I used to wonder if I made a mistake in missing an IIT education. So 3 years later, when I got a chance to do MSc in chemistry in IIT Madras, I took the opportunity, and that has turned out to be wonderful. I learned a lot from many of the professors here. I got my special interest in theoretical chemistry and quantum chemistry when I was a student here, and I did my project with Professor Subramaniam. And he was also instrumental in me deciding to go to Carnegie Mellon University to do my PhD with the legendary Professor John Popel. And John Popel's philosophy was always to choose highly challenging but really important problems and try to solve them in a timely manner. It's easier said than done, but I've always tried to follow the philosophy of choosing important problems. Professor Popel went on to win the Nobel Prize in Chemistry in 1998, and I was really fortunate that he asked me to go to Stockholm with him and take part in all the ceremonies. Since that time, I worked in Bell Labs and at Indiana University, now giving back to the students what I learned from my professors, but all of it started from my time at IIT Madras. But that's not all. Equally importantly, my personal life also revolves around IIT Madras. I met my wife, Akola, who's here in the audience, in IIT when we were both around 19 years old. We were classmates in MSc Chemistry, and I'm still surprised that she was interested in me at all. We both decided to go to Carnegie Mellon University for a PhD, and we got married fairly early in life. We've been married for almost 37 years. We have two wonderful daughters, Ranjani and Meera. And this year, we have a brand new grandson. At this point, I would also like to thank a few more people in my life, particularly my parents, my father, Dr. Raghavachari, who was an ENT doctor who's unfortunately no more. My mother, Pankajam Raghavachari. She lives in Madras, but she's not able to come today for health reasons. My sister, Vatsala, who's in the audience today. My brothers, Badri and Balaji, who both studied in IIT Madras to get their engineering degrees. And also my second family. After we got married, my father-in-law, N.T. Vanamamalai, who was a famous lawyer in Madras, and my mother-in-law, Rajalakshmi Vanamamalai, who's there in the audience today, and all their brothers and sisters, Sudha and others, and all the cousins that we are all very close to. Without all that love and affection, none of the professional success will be meaningful. So finally, I tell the students that, follow your passion, and if you work hard, you can achieve what you want. And again, it's a real honor, privilege, and I'm completely delighted to be here to accept this wonderful honor. Thank you very much.
I'm very honored to be here in the presence of such a distinguished group of people and to be counted among them. I'd like to begin by thanking my parents who are in the audience. The last time my parents were able to attend an award ceremony where I won an award was maybe 30 years ago. I would also like to thank my wife and children who couldn't be here today, but without whose support, this would not have been possible. Many years ago, I was giving a talk at the California Institute of Technology, and my host there, Mani Chandy, who computer scientists in the audience will recognize, began his speaker introductions by saying, Ramesh went to all the right places. That phrase has stuck with me for a long time, and for two reasons. First, I've been extraordinarily privileged to be part of this institution, which was one of the right places that Mani Chandy mentioned. I've always been amazed at the name recognition that the IITs have across the world, and have been grateful for the respect that you get just by being associated with this institution. This award is a wonderful recognition, and coming from such a distinguished institution, it's especially special. I'd like to thank my nominator, Dr. Shivram Murthy. Having nominated others for awards, I know how much work it is, and I thank him for the trouble. I'd also like to thank the selection committee and the leadership of the institution, Dr. Ramamurthy, Dr. Nagarajan, and others. The second thing I took away from Mani's comments was that I've been exceptionally lucky in my professional career. I had an impeccable education for my PhD degree at Berkeley. And a few years ago, just out of curiosity, I traced my academic lineage. So I looked at my advisor, his advisor's advisor, and so forth. And I was a little surprised and amused to see that my academic lineage included some of the famous names in science, Gauss, Euler, Leibniz, and others. Of course, I'm not sure those gentlemen would appreciate the highly empirical kind of work I do, but it's certainly interesting that, and I'm grateful for that lineage. I'd also like to thank I had a very strong peer group, both here at IIT and at Berkeley, who helped in my development. And none of this would have been possible without an excellent group of collaborators, including some of the best minds in computer networking. And these people have shaped me in more ways than they can imagine. I wouldn't be standing here if I hadn't been blessed with a very extraordinary group of PhD students. Having graduated a bunch of students, I now realize some of the satisfaction that it takes to be an educator. One gets a deep sense of satisfaction when one sees students succeeding in the world. I hope my accomplishments give some of my professors at IIT some sense of satisfaction. I had the fortune yesterday to meet with my BTech advisor, Professor Pandurangan, who is still as energetic as ever. And he set me on my path, set the stage for my academic development and inculcated a passion for research. I'm also in touch with some of my other professors, Professor Kalyana Krishnan, Professor Mothu Krishnan, Raghavan, Kritivasan, Lakshminaran. I'm very, very grateful for and deeply thankful for all that they have done for me. Finally, I'd like to thank you all for taking time out of your busy schedules to be with us here today, and I wish you a pleasant evening. Thank you.
I'm humbled and honored to be in this company of such amazing people. I came to IIT, a long time ago now, it feels like, as a raw, young student who thought he was, the best in the world. But IIT actually taught me what real excellence was. I had the privilege of the company of some of the best people in the world, not just in studies, but they were brilliant musicians. They were brilliant at culture. They were brilliant at sports. I learned so many different things from all of them. It was one of the best experiences that I ever had in my life. But most of all, I would say the heroes of today, the heroes of this institution, are the professors that are here. All of you could be anywhere in the world. You choose to be here. You choose to impart education to us, to all the students that pass through this institute, and really, educate and elevate all of us, and let us accomplish so much for the world. You're the real heroes of today, and I want to express a huge round of thanks for all of you. Thank you.
Good evening, Honorable Secretary, Professor Ramurthy, Professor Nagarajan, who's sitting there. I am truly, truly humbled to stand in the presence of this august group and this audience. The work that they have done, the work that the chairpersons sitting behind have done in creating these is truly remarkable. And I salute you. I salute you also because many of you ragged me when I was in this institution, my seniors. Honorable Secretary mentioned a very important thing about fear of failure. Perhaps the only thing that stands between us and our dreams is our fear of failure. It is not failure itself, but it's our fear of failure. You can achieve anything you want. That is what this institution teaches us. And that is what we learn through this rigorous 4-year program now or 5-year program in the past, that mantra has to stay with us. But let not our fears of failure retract and take us back down. And that's a very, very important message from him. And I wholeheartedly agree with that. I believe the end of education is character. The end of education is determination. It is a will. It is a vision. And that is what this institution imparts upon each of us. The knowledge, yes. The competitiveness, yes. The ability to survive, yes. But above all, what is most valuable is the character. It is the values that we get from our peers. That is remarkable. And that is what guides us in the future. That's what makes us who we are. I am deeply indebted to my colleagues, my classmates. I remember in 1975, well, I don't remember the incident, but I did drown in Elliott's Beach. And at one point, it was on the day when we had our hostel day in Godavari, they announced I had died. Obviously, I'm not dead. But the camaraderie and the support I received from my peers and my classmates has touched my life. It has touched my life to the extent that I want to serve others and I want to make other people happy. And that has been the guiding force in my career. That is a force that was taught to me at this institution. This institution transformed me. This institution guided me. This institution changed the way I think. They did brain surgery on me, so I do brain surgery on others now. I want to be very clear. IIT Madras and the group of IITs in the country are leaders not only in technology, but in creating leaders of the future in the world. And that is a privilege very few institutions and universities have in this world. I'm truly grateful to this institution. I'm grateful above all to my parents. In the Vedas, we are taught Matru Devo Bhava, Pitru Devo Bhava, Acharya Devo Bhava, and for me, of course, Patient Devo Bhava. Thank you kindly.
Good evening, everybody. It is wonderful to be on this stage in the midst of so many illustrious people here talking to all of you. To me, it's also a little surreal. In fact, one of my classmates who is in the audience, his son is now a student of IIT. When he heard that I've been selected for this award, he called up his son and said, "Hey kid, you can either be a topper or you can be a distinguished alumnus. The two are mutually exclusive." So I learned very little in the classrooms in IIT because I seldom attended class. There wasn't compulsory attendance in those days. I think the overall culture of liberal education where you could really explore and do whatever you wanted to do, that was what is wonderful about IIT. And I learned a lot, mostly from friends. And though I didn't interact so much in class, I got to actually meet some very good faculty members outside of class. At the end of first semester, I remember that I was so put off by almost every course that I attended, with the exception of chemistry, which actually I didn't like in school. I got to like it in IIT, but other than that, every course which I thought was interesting before that, physics, maths, and everything else, I was so put off by it that I wanted to quit my BTech program. And there was a physics professor who's now no more. He asked me, "What will you do if you leave?" And that's a question I had not actually pondered over. I only wanted to get away from this. And so I randomly told him something. I don't really recollect what I told him. I said, "I will go trekking, I will observe nature, I will play, I will be a journalist." I don't know what I told him. So he said, "You can do all of that. You don't have to leave IIT for it. Only pay your mess bill on time." So, because the most important threat to getting a BTech, in those days at least, was no due certificate. But otherwise you could sail through most classes. But another reason why the whole thing feels surreal for me is that ever since passing out, I have always lived and worked within 5 kilometers radius of IIT, most of my life. And
Almost every activity I do, I have done in close collaboration with IIT, with faculty members in IIT, with students of IIT. And to me, I still feel like a student. I still have a few more credits to clear before I get my BTech. And every time I come to this campus, I meet some students, faculty. I have always something new to learn. And sometimes I wonder why I bunked all those classes, because I'm very, very voraciously learning those subjects now, and I wish I had learned them many years back. And the only phrase that comes to my mind is something that Bernard Shaw said, that youth is wasted on the young. To paraphrase that, I think education is wasted on students. It is like being overserved with too many good things when you simply don't have the hunger for it. But in professional life, when we actually encounter situations and discover that we need to know something, I think we can also learn a lot more efficiently in much shorter time than we can in the classroom. And I think a few months ago, I just casually browsed for something and I found some talks on NPTEL, which is a very important initiative. It's an online course program of IIT Madras, which actually makes accessible lectures to everybody. They don't have to be students of IIT. And some of them I found so wonderful, very engrossing, very riveting. And I have often wondered how you can impart hands-on, because engineering is really about toy making. And I've made a lot of toys, some of them useful. And it's about building things, building stuff. You need place, you need infrastructure. And how can that be made accessible? And today when I met the HOD and some faculty members, they took me through a lab that they are in the process of building, by which robotics will be accessible to anybody. Any student across India can log in remotely. He can manipulate a robot. He can write the software. He can see on the camera how the thing is responding, debug it. I thought it was great fun. And I think students today are a lot lucky in many things being much more accessible to them, so that they can break small divisions of department and other things. Because finally, in real life, everything is very, very multidisciplinary. And no matter how well one learns something, one always finds that there are many things more that one needs to learn before one does anything in life. So thank you all for this opportunity. Thank you, Professor Bhaskar, for having been an encouragement all along. Many faculty members here, Professor Ashok Jujunwala is here. And I want to thank my parents who have come all the way from Bangalore, my brother, who's also an alumnus of this institute, his family, my wife. A lot of my extended family are here. I could see them only after I came to the stage. Many of my classmates from Bangalore, Hyderabad and other places have come, not to mention, of course, Chennai. I'm grateful to all of them for having taught me, first and foremost. And last but not the least, Professor Ganesh. I have to introduce him to my father, reintroduce him rather, after this function. I had promised him at the end of my BTech program, when I was, when everybody was either going on for management study or going abroad, going for higher education or MTech, various programs. I had actually no clue what I wanted to do. I had a long list of things I did not want to do, and I just wanted to be left alone to figure out what I want to do. And my father was obviously worried. And in a little bit of a exaggerated misrepresentation of fact, I told him that I have already discussed this in great detail with a very senior professor in IIT Madras, and he thinks I should do just what I want to do. And my father wanted to check out who is this faculty member who is misguiding his son. And he came to Chennai and went to his house. They had a 1 hour long discussion. Actually, Professor Ganesh today at lunch asked me what my father thinks of me today. So I should reintroduce them. Thank you very much.
Honorable Dr. Avinash Chandra, Professor Ramamurthy, Professor Nagarajan, friends, I'm the oldest among these awardees tonight. The youngest awardee was 1 year old when I graduated from IIT. And hence, I should be allowed to read from a paper should I forget something, because I don't have the extent of memory as these young guys have today. Consequently, I'd like to say, and I need to take off my glasses, that again will tell you about my age. This special occasion comes once in a lifetime, and I'm grateful and touched to receive the Distinguished Alumni Award from my alma mater. It's the most meaningful award I have ever received or expect to receive. A special thank you to my batchmates, Shashi Rao and Verghese Abraham, who nominated me, and to those who participated in my selection. Recognition from one's own country, alma mater, and peers has no equal. It'll always be for me one of the sweet achievements in my life. I can only say how proud I am to be among the more accomplished and worthy alumni here, and among those who have been recognized in the past. I entered IIT age 16 way back in 1964, 50 years ago, with brill cream in my hair when I had them, and Indian movie heroines on my mind. My academic performance at IIT was not at all outstanding. I belonged to what might be called general and average, and was content to coast along the 5 years as best I could. But besides the rigorous education and engineering here, there were other values instilled in us which we have drawn upon all our lives. Toil at the workshop taught us how to roll up our sleeves and get to the job. This has been a lesson in life. As you climb the career ladder, you earn the respect of your peers and your colleagues when they find that no job is too small for you to tackle. And you never just stand back and let others do the job. Hostel life, here or anywhere, taught us to share, give and take, and forge friendships that have lasted a lifetime. For this, I'm grateful to IIT. A word about the quality of education here. It has the best in the teaching faculty. As I said, I was just an average student here. But the education I received was the finest. I went to England for a master's and PhD after 4 years in industry. To my astonishment, the academics were a walkthrough for me. I graduated with a distinction. I mentioned this merely to illustrate the outstanding nature of the solid foundation in engineering here and the vital role of industrial experience. For this, I owe a debt of gratitude to my IIT teachers, which I can never repay. I take this opportunity to thank my alma mater for giving me the tools to sail through life. As the decades roll by, we look back with nostalgia on our career, our work, our relationships. I always wish I had done more on all fronts, been a better son, a better sibling, a better friend, and a better husband. The love of my family and friends have been the pillars of my life, and to know they are truly proud of me is very special. I would like to take this opportunity to state that I would not be here among the awardees if it were not for all the motivation and support over the last 42 years from Nimi, my wife, who is right here. She has been my main source of inspiration and is here today to share this occasion with me. Thank you. I'm indeed lucky to have so many of my friends and family here to share this evening with me, and my heartfelt thanks to them for this unwavering encouragement and support. The honor awarded to me tonight is a gift I will always treasure. I will forever hold IIT in my heart. Finally, in accepting this award this evening for what I've already done, I assure you I'm not done. I hope to be better and do more, so that some years from now, when you hear my name, you will smile and once more be proud of me. Thank you.
Dear Appa, you're 86, soon to be 87, and probably the eldest in this room. Respected Professor Ramurthy, respected Professor Kamaraj, respected Aditi, Mr. Chandar, respected DAs, mature colleagues, and young friends. Words fail me. An alumni moment is what everybody dreams about, but when it appears, you don't have glasses, you don't have notes, you don't have teleprompters, it's just me spouting what I want. And that's the way I liked it to be. I think life has been very kind to me, and as I look back at the times that I've spent at this institute and the things that I've learned, it has been nothing short of amazing. First, I want to start by thanking my father for being my pillar, for encouraging me at every step, and for always making me reach goals that I thought were unattainable. And most importantly, he always believed that the best years are ahead of you, never behind you. I define him as the optimist. My mother just gave me one simple word: compassion. She said, that'll carry you everywhere and anywhere. And she always said, treat others the way you want to be treated. That sort of summed it up all. My wife, who has been my backbone and supported me through all my entrepreneurship, she could not be here today, Chitra, and my daughter, for their tremendous understanding of all the difficult moments I've had through my entrepreneurship and my ups and downs and successes and joys and failures. But at every stage, they always egged me on and said, you can do it. And to them, I owe a deep sense of gratitude forever. To my two brothers, Srivatsan and Suresh, who are my cheerleaders and who have always been looking up to me and saying, you got to achieve more, you're not done yet. In fact, that's what they told me just a few days ago when they sent me here, because both of them were very proud that I could be recognized, and especially because I was a lone entrepreneur from my department. I also have two wonderful cousins here in the audience, Lakshmi and Chitra, who are here to support me and who also are my cheerleaders and who care and have given me tremendous amount of affection over the years. For that, I'm eternally grateful. The most important thing in life is to be able to have people around you who make the difference. To me, all these people have made nothing short of a humongous difference, and that's what made me achieve all the things I have thus far. My entry into IIT at the age of 15 was nothing spectacular. My first visit was to the NCC building for my interview. With an All India rank of 1099, my dream was set on becoming a mechanical engineer. At 1090, mechanical engineer in Chennai closed. I was on the wait list. I was very disheartened. The choices given to me were chemical, aerospace, civil, or metallurgy. I didn't care for aerospace or civil. I knew very little about chemical, so I chose metallurgy. That evening, when I went back home, my uncle sat me down and gave me one of the best lectures that any young man could have. He assured me that I had chosen a great field, that Salem steel plant was about to be commissioned and to make stainless steel. Buruka and Bokaro and Bhilai were in their second phase of expansion. Visakhapatnam was on the drawing boards, and India would have nothing but a glorious future in metallurgy. Of course, at that time, I didn't believe him, but I have morphed myself from being a metallurgist to a materials engineer to a materials scientist, and for that, I'm eternally grateful for his advice. Now on to you mature folks. I know a lot of you are mentors to your children, mentors to your nephews, mentors to your nieces, and mentors to other friends of the family. I leave you with some expressions that I have formulated in my life, which I've used as I have mentored over 170 students. To encourage a student is probably the most difficult thing, and I know that every professor here does this every single day. But to carry them beyond the education to the next threshold of real life is an even bigger challenge, and to give them the confidence that they can do what they set out to do and do it well. So I share with you 5 expressions that I think will make a meaningful difference. Vision is the father of thought. Education is the path to prosperity. Discipline is the architect of direction. Attitude is all that matters. and sharing is the ultimate in satisfaction. If you took the first letters of those words, they spell out to be the Vedas, and these are timeless truths. And to my young friends in the audience, I am envious of you. I would like to know all that I know now and be your age. The new fields that are coming about, whether it's analytics, big data, 3D printing, molecular imaging, stem cell therapy, and numerous others, are all areas where any one of you can shine. The basics that IIT gives you is nothing short of the best. And if you apply yourself, I am very sure that you all will be up on this dais to receive your awards, because I think that there is no limit to achievements. I dare you to dream. It is your sovereign right to dream. And more than anything else, I want you to volunteer and show your volunteerism in a way, whether it is to the family, to your parents, to your relatives, or to the community, or even your friends, because that carries you a long way. And finally, I want to say something that's very sentimental to me on this award. My uncle died on 26 January 2006. This award was announced on 26 January. I'm just overwhelmed with emotion because his undying affection for me has made sure that I have received this award. And for this, I am truly blessed. Thank you.